One part of the United Kingdom is central to the apparently endless Brexit debate, and that's Northern Ireland. To date, public attention has been largely focused on Westminster and its politicians, but that isn't the whole story. Brexit is as divisive here in Northern Ireland as it is in the rest of the United Kingdom, and nowhere more so than here on the Shankill Road, the citadel of loyalism, the citadel that has suffered so much. The fear is that a border in the middle of the Irish Sea is the thin end of the wedge of Irish unity. Do you fear a loyalist backlash?
I'm not saying we'd fear a loyalist backlash, because I don't think there's any evidence yet that we're at that point. I think we have to be open-minded, that this often here is my early reflections and learning is that violence in very different forms is a reflection of people's views of a threat to their identity. So that if the political resolution we get to, whether it's this week or beyond in the next few months, threatens the union, you can anticipate a lot of emotion in loyalist communities and the potential for civil disorder.
On Monday evening in Belfast, many unionists queued to express their anger and concerns over the government's New Deal. Those concerns are reflected by Billy Hutchinson, a former member of the UVF and now a Belfast City Councilor.
And the issue here is the principle of consent and about the Britishness of people in Belfast. And I've been saying this all week, Peter, there's confusion about this. And that confusion is that irrespective of what Brexit brings out, it's a question of, is Northern Ireland's position in the United Kingdom safe? And that's the most important bit.
However, there are prominent unionists like David Trimble, one of the architects of the Good Friday Agreement, who support Boris Johnson's deal, as do other unionists.
Yesterday's agreement is a great step forward. Whilst previously the people of Northern Ireland were to have an agreement imposed on them, now we have a mechanism for the consent of the people of Northern Ireland. This is fully in accordance with the spirit of the Good Friday Agreement.
Down the years, maintaining and defending the union of Northern Ireland with the rest of the United Kingdom has been unionism's overriding concern. The Good Friday Agreement of 1998 enshrined the guarantee that Northern Ireland would remain part of the UK as long as the majority wished it. But now there are fears that the guarantee is less secure, given the Prime Minister's new Brexit deal, which many loyalists believe is tantamount to some kind of border in the Irish Sea.
We will have two different tariffs. We'll have a UK tariff and the EU tariff. And also about goods moving back and forward. And for Northern Ireland companies, this is going to be a nightmare. They'll have two sets of forms to fill in, and they'll be treated differently.
To unionists, the union flag is more than just a symbol. It's central to their very being.
From the loyalist community, I think we are concerned that identity is also important. We saw that a few years ago with serious disorder in relation to flags, and therefore how whatever ends up as a Brexit deal, if there is one, could be perceived in a way that sort of threatens the security of the loyalist community. And therefore sometimes when the narrative is all about what the dissident republics are going to do, our concern is also the loyalist community has at times shown it can mobilise quickly, bring large numbers of people onto the streets and engage in public disorder in support of their cause.
Recent history warns of the consequences of loyalist anger. In 2013, protests turned violent after the nationalist-dominated Belfast City Council restricted the number of days that the Union flag could be flown over City Hall. Dozens of police officers were injured. Are you prepared to deal with that eventuality of there being street demonstrations, possibly violent street demonstrations?
I think clearly we rely on being able to get police officers in sufficient numbers to quell disorder. So we also have arrangements with the rest of the United Kingdom that if we feel we need to draw into Great Britain and bring extra police officers here to support that endeavour, that we can.
At Monday night's meeting in Belfast, loyalists did not mince their words.
But there's a clear message come out of it. The Unionists and Loyalist community have had enough of this one-sided peace process. We're not going to tolerate an economic United Ireland, and that was a feeling in the room. The anger is immense across unionism and loyalism.
The Chief Constable has previously expressed concern over the potential reaction of nationalists and Republicans to a hard border, but now he may have loyalists to deal with.